Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel, and this week we are going to be going into Regency short stays. I have a red threaded pattern for their short stays, and basically I'm just going to be following the pattern, kind of seeing how it goes. I know zippo nothing about Regency period stuff. It's not actually a time period I'm even that interested in, to be 100% honest. It's probably like my second, it might actually be my least favorite time for fashion. But I am interested in learning about all the different historical time periods before at least the 20th century. That and my costume society has a Regency themed picnic that we'll be going to in a few weeks, so I might as well fit the theme. For this I have some leftover beige coutil and then quite a bit of my natural organic twill, which is actually my preferred for corsets, but I think we're gonna go with the beige coutil for this one because I don't know how much I have left of this, and that seems like a good fabric to go for something with short stays, considering you don't need too much fabric, I'm hoping. So yes, like I said, just between you and me, Regency is not my favorite fashion time period. I also have a sinking feeling I'm not going to look that good in the fashion for that time period. I don't really look that good in high-waisted or empire waisted clothing. I did do that Italian gown not too long ago over near the beginning of summer, and that was pretty high-waisted. At least there were more layers though, but I did feel a little like a pumpkin. So I have a feeling I'm gonna feel not very flattering in Regency clothing, which is some of the reason I don't like the time period. I don't know if it's the most flattering. So yeah, not sure how I feel about it. We'll see how the whole ensemble looks. I just usually prefer Victorian stuff, not only because I like the aesthetic of how it looks, but I do think I usually look better in it because, you know, they have a full body corset that sinks you all the way in. So I guess it's enough chit chat. Let's get started on the pattern. All right, let's take a look at this. I've never actually bought patterns like this before, like from any of the companies that I've worked with, like Redthreaded, Black Snail, Laughing Moon, Truly Victorian. Usually I just buy the PDF pattern, so this is going to be unusual. So it's in a little booklet. So these must be the instructions. Okay, yeah, put that aside. Oh, and this is the pattern. This looks incredibly simplistic, you guys. Famous last words, right? So we got this part. This is obviously the back. I thought it would be the front. Never mind. This is obviously the back. Bust gussets? That's going to be interesting. I've been actually quite curious to learn about how to do bust gussets for a variety of corsets and such, and side and front. Okay, so I guess let's go ahead and cut these out. Yeah. Once all your pieces are cut, you're going to want to edge finish all of them. I use my serger for this. Then of course I'm going to press everything, and then I mark out the dash lines. To my understanding, this is just for doing stay stitching to help further enforce your stays. Okay, so now that we've done all the, boring prep work, it's now time to actually start on the construction. So it looks like the first thing we do is we take our front piece, and I'm going to mark out, like here, I'm not putting pressure, but basically we're going to take a, what did they say, a short stitch length, and go where these slashes are, and stitch around on both sides of the front, because this is where our bust gussets will be. And then we'll cut down the center of each slash to the very tip of the point and press back the edges. So yeah, all right. And we'll re-rolling the stay stitching slightly to the inside. So that's basically the first major step we want to take. I am terrible at using this rotary thing. I've never been good at it. Which is embarrassing to say. I think I did a pretty bad job. I'm just not even good at making it straight. But I will do my best. Did that even go through? A little. Okay. Well, as I work on doing this, we'll just move on to the next step. This is what it looks like after I ironed it. I just used my kind of those stay stitch lines as a way of folding it over to kind of help me. It's a bit hard to get the point to kind of iron in. I've done the best I can, but this is our wrong side, so I'm gonna flip it like this now. Grab a gusset, and what I'm gonna do, according to the instructions, is I'm gonna put our, so we'll just pick which one's gonna be first. We'll say this one. Okay. So I want to kind of, you see how I did that stay stitching? Let me zoom out a bit. So you see how I did this stay stitching? You don't have to do that. Oh yeah, they do want you to do that. I'm sorry, ignore me. So what I'm going to do is line that up with the edge that I folded over, ironed in place, and basically try and fold it like that. And basically match that up as we go along, pinning it in place. Now they did disclaimer something in the pattern which they said the gusset piece may end up taller than the main bodice. That's okay. Am I matching up my bottom? Maybe I should do the bottom first. That would probably be easier. Maybe. They do have a picture that they show, but yeah, it's just a picture. So yeah, I'll line up my bottom first. That should make it a little easier to get this more exact. Oh boy, I can tell this is gonna be the hard part. Okay, there. Now we'll just follow the fold, the pressed underline, and that stitch line, and follow it up. Yeah. Here she is with the gussets, looking pretty nice. The inside, because of the close ironing setting, so it's actually covered up pretty well by the finished edges of the gusset, so it looks nice. So I'm hoping that's actually the hardest part of this project. So you know, okay, like maybe this is just me, but I kind of feel like this is really the first rendition of the bra. Like, if you really think about it, the way it looks, because it doesn't go down really at all into the stomach. Like, I know it goes a little way down, but I feel like this is the first bra ever. Ooh, I think it's gonna fit me fine. I think it's gonna fit fine. On to the next step, which sounds like bone casing. Oh, applying them. Okay. Not bad. Okay, so whoa. Alright, so now we're on to the bone casings. As I said, we're only doing it on the side and the front pieces, because if you read further into the instructions, they'll talk about getting to the bone casings. So I have basically just marked the top and the bottom roughly, and we're just gonna go like, what? Yes, I know, this is just bias tape, but you know what? They say that's fine, so we're going with bias tape. Ow. My knuckles are really stiff. So yeah, basically I'm just gonna clip these in place. I like to always cut my bias tape a little longer than needed. And I'm just gonna stitch the sides so that it's open on the top and the bottom. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this process, except, yeah. Mark your center front and put your bias tape or channels on either side. After this, you'll just sew the channels into place, making sure at least one section is open to slide your boning into. Then it's just piecing all of the pieces together. So you know, connecting your fronts to your sides to your backs. Okay, sorry about it being a bit dark, but this is our back piece, so everything is attached. And now what we have to do is, I've marked it already with the chalk, but if you look at the pattern, there's the plus signs, and that is essentially where we fold it over and sew, and then doing that we can make our last two boning channels. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and fold this over and then sew. I'm actually gonna sew along this edge first, the very inner edge. So yes, go ahead and flip it around, mark roughly what those plus signs are, and we fold it there to match it up as such, and then we sew it. Okay, so it looks like from the diagram we'll end up with two boning channels, one right along the edge, and then see when we sew this up we're going to make another channel there, just kind of matching this area here. And then in between we'll do as you do with Morse corsets, that's where our eyelet section will be. So I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and show you guys that. I hope that makes sense, because yeah. Go ahead and press open all of your seams, because you will be putting more boning channels in this area. And this is also why we edge finish all of the pieces separately. It's then time to add your boning, and the instructions does give you like actually the measurements to do, but I always just usually cut my own, kind of eyeballing it. There's really no secret. I just use my snips, and then I touch up the edges so they're not sharp with a file. Yeah. Want to say hi to the camera? Huh? You want to say hi? Look at the camera, baby. The only real advice I have to give here is putting your boning in so that the curve is opposite, and then you'll have to press it. After that, I'm putting my bias binding on the bottom, and then you will put it along the top edge, which covers up everything. It finishes basically your whole stays. And yeah, we're getting really close to the ending of this project. Now we'll just use those pattern pieces to mark out where all our grommets or eyelets are going to be going. You'll have 4, the pattern shows 4, but on the pictures I noticed they had 5 for the back, so while I marked 4, I ended up actually changing this to 5 later on when I was doing it. And then you'll have 1 at the strap, and then 1 down at the front for where your strap ties. I use my little tiny scissors to help me cut. If you're using the big eyelets, which I was using, you might need bigger scissors, but... And then I just pop all my eyelets in, and that's it. That's the last step. It was time to try it all on. Final thoughts, and I think it's turned out pretty well for just a one-off attempt. I did not do any kind of mock-up. This was the mock-up. So and yes, I know the white bias tape, beige, cotillion, pink ribbon, it's all a mess. I will be changing the ribbon all to white and putting on a proper back ribbon. But, you know, I just wanted to get it on and make sure it fit me. For the most part, it fits. Maybe I could definitely take it in the bust a little bit more if I wanted to go for another one in the future. But honestly, I think it fits me pretty well. The other thing, my eyelets for here, I think I have them too far back. I swear I followed the pattern piece, but honestly, looking at the picture of the pattern, it looks like they should be almost like a whole inch closer to the boop. So, and that's an easy fix. Hey, baby. I can honestly just put another eyelet in. And I mean, you know, the great thing about undergarments is they are under your regular garments, so no one's really gonna see it. I feel like the straps could have been longer, and this does look just like in the picture. I feel like these are very short. I feel like they should almost be 2 inches longer, in my opinion, but I am not like a super aficionado about this stuff. Honestly, quite pleasantly surprised. I really thought I'd have like reverse muffin top with this on. Like I thought it would cinch me in here and then go bloop. And I mean, it is doing that a little bit. It is making me look a little pregnant. But it's not as bad as I honestly thought it would be. Now maybe if I had it smaller up here, I mean, I do have bust support. I have perfect amount of bust support. I do not have like shelf boob though, which I don't know if Regency is supposed to do that. I thought it was supposed to more just lift and kind of separate a bit. I'm not sure. But I feel fine, honestly. Yes, there is room to shrink it. Like you can see that here. Like I could easily take that in. I'm sorry if you guys can hear thunder. Believe it or not, it is 1 o'clock, so it's just dark because we have a thunderstorm rolling in, which is good. We needed rain. I'm ready for this summer to end. So but yeah, all in all, I think this was a very easy pattern to follow. It has some pretty good tips, so I think when I make later on, if I make another one that's more official to fit me a bit better, it should be pretty easy, because it seems just the little wedges here is what you take in to kind of reduce the bust size. Yes, Mushu, hello. So now it's on to making the Regency dress to go over this. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. He says bye too.